so I thought we'd sort of do a roundup. What's hot? What surprised us? What did we see coming? So maybe if we go around, what's been your sort of top toys to life thing you've seen at the show? I'll start with you, Matt.
Well, obviously, we're looking at Skylanders Imaginators, and I just got hands-on for the first time today, and it looks amazing. Like, I wasn't necessarily into the creation aspect, but the more you get hands-on with it, the more exciting it gets. So, check it out.
Do you think if you haven't played Skylanders before, it's a good one to start? You to jump in on Imaginators, or is it better to maybe go back and start an earlier one?
I think Imaginators is actually a decent place to start, because I mean, not only can you use all the previous figures if you like some of them, but you can create your own figure, and that's where you can really just kind of use your imagination and make the game what you want it to be.
Yeah, cool. So, Josh, how about you? What's been your sort of highlight so far?
Nintendo releasing or announcing new Amiibo was kind of a surprise. They didn't hint at that at all. We got 3 new Amiibo announced for the new Zelda game that's coming out next year. A new line of the Super Mario Amiibo with a glow-in-the-dark Boo Amiibo.
What? A glow-in-the-dark?
Boo.
Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah, so all those look great. I mean, Nintendo, they're kind of in this weird spot where they don't have much to release. Amiibo is a great thing for them, and it was nice to see them here at the show.
Yeah, so it's not because they've got a massive Zelda Wii U booth, haven't they? It's nice to walk through, but so it's not just Zelda. There's other stuff too.
Right. Yeah. It's so the Zelda Amiibo, and then the Super Mario Amiibo. So.
And you can use the Twilight Princess Amiibo, can't you, in the new Zelda game?
Yes. And
bring Wolf Link in. Have you had a chance to look at that?
I've seen it in action. So you use the wolf. And it's actually a companion Amiibo in the game, and he has his own health in the new game, and it looks really, really great, yeah.
And so, Jason, how about you? What is there a particular highlight so far? There's more to see, but how's it going?
Yeah, I was coming in fully hyped for LEGO Dimensions. Was not let down whatsoever for that. They gave us a sneak peek of some of the new stuff. Behind closed doors, they even showed a little bit of Mission Impossible. Stuff like that was super exciting. Obviously, the big thing they had here was the big exclusive that they gave away is the we got the green arrow poly bag. Yeah. Pretty cool there. Exclusive here at E3, but also going to be at some other trade shows as well. It sounds like they hinted saying follow the social media accounts as well. So it sounds like they might try to give some away to the public as well that way. But they said it's a limited number, so it's a very limited thing. But they showed everything from there. They showed some of the Ghostbusters story pack. Looked really great. They have some surprise cameos in the background there, where the Velma was behind there, the Mystery Machine, Marty McFly was in that the story pack as well in the background. So I'm really excited for it. There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah. So with Dimensions, it feels like you need to do a lot of reading between the lines, don't you? And we've had some pack codes come out, but there's obviously a lot more to come. We think we're going to get more than just these 2 story packs, don't we? Do you have a feel for what other franchises any of you think might be coming?
Yeah, there seems to be this weird confusion in the press release whether there's a Lego Batman movie one coming as well. I wouldn't be surprised. It seems, though we were talking about it before, that they might be taking the Disney Infinity approach and releasing a story pack that kind of like matches up with their movie releases. So they're kind of going all along with that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is a Lego Batman one. Would be a great way to release that for the movie as well.
Yeah, I see you nodding along there, Matt. So, did you have some thoughts there?
And basically what he said, it would make a lot of sense. Like, the 2 that we have confirmed are movies that are coming out this year. So why not keep up that trend, and every time they release a new movie, release a story pack with it, because that was their big tagline on the story pack, was that you can play through the entire movie. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah. And so if it's a story pack, you get sort of 7 chapters, don't you? So that would
six,
yeah,
6 levels. So, but they say you can play from beginning to end of the new movie there. Even what they showed, just a little glimpse of it, even seemed a little more in depth than what the level packs we had. So, and then in addition to that, they have new abilities as well. They had a new thing called the Rip, which is a new toy pad ability. You got to go to another dimension and pull like objects from another franchise into it, similar to what we already had before, but this time you actually go into the other dimension and bring it back.
So that's like a new keystone sort of item, isn't it, that fits into the portal?
Correct. Yeah. So
the toy pad, not the portal.
Yeah. I know. I fully put it. Toy pad is the official one, but yeah, pull that in there. So pretty cool that they're adding new abilities constantly to it as well.
Now I asked my 8-year-old, what do you think of LEGO Dimensions before I came? And he was saying it's pretty good, but he doesn't like how all the figures have all the abilities from the off. There's no upgrading to the minifigures. Is that? Do you think that's a problem, or do you think that's something they're going to change?
I really don't think they're going to change it, because I think that's something. They have so many characters, and they're going to be coming out with so many more every year, that having unique abilities to each character, like if they started upgrading things, then it's just going to overlap the characters even more, meaning you need fewer and fewer of them, and I think they want you to buy more. So I think they're going to keep that limited and keep it down.
Yeah, so it feels like, whereas Disney Infinity, which we have to talk more about in a minute, you had sort of character classes, didn't you? So you had an upgrade tree, but those abilities weren't as bespoke to each character, and it feels like LEGO Dimensions, you have these very specific abilities, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things I've always said was kind of weird about LEGO Dimensions. You don't feel like when you play the characters, any reward for playing with that character multiple times. Disney Infinity kind of upgraded through that. So it's kind of the way they chose. There's nothing really they can do about it. But it's still pretty fun how they had it with the different abilities there. And each character does feel a little bit unique. There's very few that feel overlapped. But again, yeah, you don't get that full luxury of feeling that you're upgrading a character new in ways.
Yeah, very cool. And so Josh wanted to talk to you. So you sort of host the Toys for Games podcast. You've got the t-shirt here. And obviously part of this ecosystem, a lot of these figures here are Disney Infinity. And if we were talking last year, looking at Mickey and whoever, would feel very different to now, because obviously it's like a historic item rather than the current item. So maybe, have you got any thoughts on sort of the whys and wherefores of what happened to Infinity?
It's really sad. I mean, everybody in the Toys Life community really loved Disney Infinity. You know, it brought people in. People weren't really adopting the Skylanders right off the bat. Once Disney Infinity came out, a lot more people started getting into the Toys to Life genre as a whole. And then, of course, we saw Amiibo and LEGO Dimensions after that. So Disney Infinity going away hit hard for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are upset and still upset, you know, and everybody in this community is kind of broken heart, but hopefully other games like Skylanders and LEGO Dimensions can learn from what happened to Disney Infinity and continue to go on instead of going the way of Disney Infinity.
Do we have a clear picture of why Disney pulled the plug? I mean, it's a financial reason, isn't it? But do we know how that stacked up?
The biggest thing from what we've heard is they overproduced a lot of figures. They brought in a lot of figures that people just weren't interested in, and they couldn't sell them. And their research and development, you know, creating these figures and bringing them into their specific art style, a lot of money went into that. And then overproducing, having 1 million or so Hulk figures sitting in a warehouse somewhere doesn't help the case, you know.
Which is ironic, because the Hulk is the one figure that I couldn't get hold of at launch. I wanted to buy it, I literally couldn't, because it was exclusive to a PlayStation pack, I think.
Right. Yeah. So they just overshot what they thought they were going to make, and it's just difficult for them. You know, they had some big plans for what they were going to do going forward with 4.0, integrating the properties a little bit more like LEGO Dimensions, allowing characters to go in and out of worlds, which they were really strict on before. They were going to open that up in the new game. They were going to bring in some very unique and different characters like Spider-Gwen, and not like the very mainstream characters, but some deeper cuts. So it was looking like they had a really clear plan where they were going, but they just financially couldn't keep up. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, too, the interesting thing about the Hulk, about to have an extra 1 million, that was actually the best-selling 2.0 figure, and even then there's still 1 million extra.
So they made a lot of Hulks.
They made a lot of Hulks. So that, and like we said before, whether it was market confusion and everything like that, but no matter what, Disney Infinity was the best-selling Toys of Life game last year. So it wasn't like it wasn't making money.
Yeah.
It just wasn't making the Disney amount of money, which most Disney properties make, you know, an enormous amount of money. So from a Disney standpoint, it wasn't making as much as they were hoping it would be making. Yeah. So it wasn't really necessarily a failure. It just wasn't a failure in Disney's eyes.
Yeah.
So.
And so that kind of changes the landscape of Toys to Life, and particularly with these franchises, because there's been a tension, hasn't there, between what's in LEGO Dimensions and what's in Disney, because Marvel has LEGO games, but not a LEGO Dimension game. Right. So do you think it sort of clears the floor for us to see Marvel and see Star Wars coming to Disney Infinity? Sorry, to LEGO Dimensions.
Yeah. I think it opens the door for Star Wars. I thought that was coming in before even the Disney Infinity got canceled. Marvel, you could say it could, but I mean, I don't think we've ever seen Marvel and DC in the same video game in a long time. I thought there was like maybe one fighter at some point, but to see that happen, I don't know if DC's going to welcome them in. So you have to remember DC's under the WB brand now, so I don't think Marvel's coming in my opinion. I could see Star Wars coming in, I could see maybe Pirates of the Caribbean, other Disney properties had the Lego treatment, but Marvel would be a huge shock to me. I hope it comes in, don't get me wrong, but from legal standpoint, I don't see it coming in.
Yeah. And so do you think maybe we'll get a Rogue One surprise team pack pop up sometime this year?
I said before, obviously the Lego Dimensions guys, obviously they're working hard, but like anyone else's job, sometimes you need to have a mind release, and obviously they're probably in the background, their own free time, making these Star Wars characters as a dream. So once that news broke that it got canceled, they probably like, we already have these assets ready to go. Obviously Star Wars Force Awakens coming as well, so I don't think it would be that hard to get it in, ready to go. Obviously probably even take them longer to get all the paperwork signed and stuff like that, but they could surprise something in there. It seems like the 16 brands we have aren't the full release even for year 2 yet, so there might still pop something in, but year 3 next year, Star Wars Episode 8, I guarantee it's going to come hot and heavy.
Yeah, would you think, I guess that would mean a story pack, unless they do something bigger, maybe like a super story pack or something.
Yeah, Star Wars sells well, so I'm sure they're going to push it like crazy in Lego Dimensions.
Yeah, cool. So obviously we should talk a bit more about Skylanders. So this year the focus is on character creation, and the existing characters aren't coming back, or only as storytellers, not as toys. So Matt, maybe you could talk about this because you run the Skylanders character list site that I've been using to get information from for ages, and it's got this nice new rebrand, isn't it? So So what do you make in terms of the characters we're getting in Imaginators? What's your thoughts?
I really like the new characters, and I mean, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people were kind of getting tired of getting the reposes of the old characters.
Series 1, 2, 3, I mean up to like 5 or 6.
It got super confusing too as to which ones worked where, because there were Series 1 figures in the first game, Series 1 figures in the second game, Series 1 figures in the third, and it was just new characters, but they were Series 1, and so it got really confusing. So it's kind of nice last year and now this year again that there's just no reposes. They're just all brand new characters. And so I think it's kind of a breath of fresh air for us on my side, trying to get people to help people understand what's going on. But I think it also gives us a chance just to experience that many more new characters and not have to worry about, which ones are coming back and which ones aren't.
Yeah. And so some of those new characters, I think 10 are going to be villains. Is that right?
11's what the official thing says. Some people reported 10. So there's something weird with that 11th one.
Where does Crash fit in to those numbers?
Same thing. We've heard 2 different stories from that as well. We thought it was going to come in the original 20. When we talked to Skylanders yesterday, or actually when I talked to Skylanders yesterday, I heard it was outside of that original 20. I know Matt talked to them today, so he actually might have an update I haven't heard yet.
Yeah, I just finished talking.
Breaking news.
And I asked him about that again, and I talked with Jeff again, and he and their PR person agreed that Crash is in the 20. So Crash is part of the 31 total, and that they're saying the 20 Skylander Sensei and then 11 Villain Sensei.
So we're going to get a Crash villain, do you think? I mean, who is the big villain in Crash Bandicoot?
Vortex.
Yeah, so is that likely?
It's possible. There was a question in the presentation today. Someone asked if we'd be getting a Crash villain, and we got there. We're not talking about that right now. So it's still a possibility, but can't say for sure.
And in terms of which villains, we're getting some Doom Raider villains coming back, so we've seen Wolfgang. But are there other villains that you'd like to see? I would like to see Glumshanks playable. So what else? Who would you like to see?
I think it's Unify. We all want Pinata. That's our most popular one. The Pinata. We really like that. Chompy Mage, I think, is another popular one.
Actually, in fact, when I saw Pinata, I think my reaction was, oh, it's such a shame it's not going to be a toy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they had the McDonald's version of it, now it's just a tease. Yeah. So a full one of that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, any others?
Yeah, I would actually like to see Hoodsickle. He was one of the villains in Trap Team, but he wasn't a Doom Raider, and so I don't know, it feels right now like they're just mostly pulling from those Doom Raiders, the kind of leaders of each element, in the villains. So I think it would be a surprise to see him there. Like the one exception we said was Pinata. He wasn't Doom Raider either technically, but they didn't have a magic Doom Raider in Trap Team. So it's hard to say at this point, but the direction they've been going with Golden Queen and Wolfgang seems to suggest that they're going to stick with the Doom Raiders, so we'll see.
And I was interested this year, they finally updated the Skylanders logo to squeeze in those extra elements, and it makes them absolutely tiny. They've obviously, had to work hard to do that. Do you think there's anything to read into that, or is it they're just sort of catching up with something they hadn't done for a couple of years, basically?
I think it was just enough people kept asking and said,
like, we'll do it.
Get it done and over with. So you have to look pretty closely, but you can see them in there.
Yeah. Because in Battlecast, which I maybe we could talk about as well, it's still the old set, and I asked them whether they're going to be including those new elements, and they didn't seem to be planning to.
Yeah, I thought I read something early on that they mentioned that they were including all 10 elements, but then, when it came out, there were only 8 elements. So it feels like, I think part of it might be that there's just not enough of the light and dark element. Like they have like 3 Skylanders from each to choose from, so they'd have to almost be creating more. Or if there's a Series 2 and they wanted to include the new characters from Imaginators that are coming out, maybe that's something that they're waiting for. I don't know.
I will say too. Did you hear what the rarity changes in Battlecast?
I heard them talking about it, but I couldn't put my head around it.
There's 4 levels of rarity in Battlecast, and there's 4 levels of rarities for the items in Imaginators. Okay, so you have common, you have rare, and you have epic. Those 3 match, but in Battlecast it's ultimate, right? But in Imaginators it's mythic. So the rarest one has 2 different names. I'm like, why did he like that? I was like, I understand. I was like, you guys, can you talk and make it the same? And drives me nuts thinking which one matches the which. But it's fun. It's fun to have the rare items in the new games, no matter what. I like the rarity in a card game as well. Not everything's common, but.
And have you enjoyed Battlecast? I mean, to me, it sort of sits in a similar space to the Amiibo cards. So it's not a toy, but it's a smart card sort of thing.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot. I play it every day. I think it was the first day even, I started up the community battles. Yeah, from the beginning, I started this thing called SCL Community Battles. I host it over at sclbattles.com, and I just invite members of our community to challenge me in a game of Battlecast, because sometimes it's hard to find people to play against. So it's like, I'm here, we have this great community, let's do this. And everybody I've talked to seems to be really excited about it. They enjoy playing the game. They are surprised at how in-depth it is.
It's quite hard. That's my kids played it, and Ollie, my youngest, was like, "Man, Dad, that is hard."
Yeah, it's definitely an easy-to-play, difficult-to-master type of game. So I think over time people get the hang of it, and it might just be pairing up with someone. You're equal with, So if your kids, find someone at the school who is also playing, they should be on a level playing field, and that's probably the best way to go.
So what I thought we'd do to finish, I'm going to set a scene here. So we've all got rooms with our Toys to Life collections in them, but they're on fire. And you can save one Toys to Life character card or whatever you want. So what would you save? You're going to need a bit of time to think. So maybe I'll go first. So while I'm talking, you guys need to think. And I really like the Lego minifigures. I think they're just something about Lego just connects to my childhood, and with that, Doctor Who does as well. So I would grab my Doctor Who Lego Dimensions minifigure. So who wants to go first?
I can go.
Yeah,
I got it. I say we get this question on our podcast sometimes. Say like, which one's your favorite? My go-to is the Lightning McQueen Disney Infinity figure. It was the first one I wanted to buy right at the bat when I was excited about Disney Infinity. I was super excited. I'm a big Cars fan. Yeah. So I announced Lightning McQueen. I'm like, I am so in. So I have like 4 copies of Lightning McQueen, I think. Whenever it's on like cheap sale for like $4, I'm like, I'll get another one.
And there's a crystal one as well, isn't there?
There's a crystal one. Yeah, I have a couple of that. Yeah, I have singles, and I have them in the packaging still for it as well. So, but yeah, I would keep my regular Lightning McQueen. So I like them a lot.
Yeah, that's a good choice. And they're quite big and weighty, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're quite substantial.
Yeah, they're one of the more heavier ones, I think, than they did. But I really like the molds on those. So super love Lightning McQueen.
Yeah. Cool. And how about you, Josh?
I think Mega Yarn Yoshi amiibo.
The big one, the mega one.
Big one.
The huggable amiibo.
That kind of shows that they could make anything into an amiibo. You know, they took a plush and they turned it into amiibo with the same amiibo functionality as everything else. I just absolutely love it. Yeah.
What I like about that is, I've always thought there's no real reason for amiibos to be on bases because they don't have to sit on the gamepad. Obviously, you just tap them, so they can be proper toys by embedding that in it. And I think the Yoshi is where we see. And I think more Toys to Life games will do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we saw that with the amiibo cards that they put out. Like you said, they don't have to sit on anything. So anything that's quick to scan that you can put away, I think they're going to figure out a way to put it in there.
Yeah, just some surprise products, shouldn't they? And be like, oh, by the way, you know that thing you just bought? It's actually an amiibo as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And Matt, how about you?
Well, I think the big question is, when is this fire occurring? If it's a couple months from now, hands down, the Harry Potter Legos are the first thing I save. Harry Potter, he's my guy. But right now, I think I'd probably go with Buzzwing from the Skylanders vehicle. It just has this amazing articulation. I don't know if you've seen it yourself, but you know, you press the button, the wings pop out. You press it again, they start flapping.
Yeah, I've not looked at that in detail. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's just amazing, and the figure itself looks great. I love it.
Yeah, and I like the idea of saving a Skylander, I guess, or an Infinity figure, because that's got your progression on it. Like we were saying earlier, my Doctor Who figure, I like it, but actually, I could just buy another one, and it would it matter? I could just put it on, and it would be the same.
You would know, Andy. You would know it's not the same one.
Because that's my Doctor.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. That's been really nice catching up with you guys at E3. We're sort of starting to make this a yearly tradition, so we should keep doing it. But do you want to give your various things you do a bit of a plug? So Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, you can find my main site at SkylandersCharacterList.com, or if you want to find some other projects I'm working on, just go to sclmat.com and I have it all listed out there for you.
And Josh?
You can find us at toysforgames.com, and our website's our podcast is available on any podcast services, iTunes, Stitcher, all that stuff.
So the podcast, is that weekly or is it?
Weekly, sometimes.
If something big happens, then you're like, we got to get on